Here we go.
Here comes the Sandman,
Ladies and gentlemen.
Adam Sandler.
1, 2, 3, 4.
The I Missed You Tour.
Should we clap along? I'm going to play guitar a little bit for you.
Adam Sandler, live.
Take him away!
Ford Idaho Center Arena, October 15th.
All right, let's lose that. I hate it. Sorry.
Get tickets now at FordIdahoCenter.com.
Today on CityCast Boise, Albertsons is Idaho's largest company with more than 5,000 employees and 39 stores across the state. Angela Palermo from the Idaho Statesman is here to tell us why the Kroger merger could mean the sale of close to a third of our Albertsons stores and how that might affect local shoppers. It's Wednesday, October 11th. I'm Emma Arnold, and this is what Boise's talking about. Hi, Angela. Welcome to CityCast Boise.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Well, I'm going to start by asking you this question, which I think is kind of on everybody's minds. Do we know yet which of Idaho's Albertsons stores might be closing?
So Albertsons and Kroger actually didn't say that they would close any stores as a result of the merger. A year ago, when the acquisition was first announced, they said they plan to spin off anywhere between 100 and 375 stores into a new company. And that was to alleviate concerns from the Federal Trade Commission about market concentration. And so the announcement in September killed the spin-off company plan, replaced it with a sale to a sole buyer, and it boosted the number of stores that would be offloaded.
And how many is that?
There's 13 Albertsons stores in Idaho that they've said they're going to sell to CNS wholesale grocers, but they haven't said where those stores are located. So we don't know if those stores are going to be in Boise or, elsewhere across the state. We do know that Albertsons has 39 stores in Idaho, and 13 of those are in Boise, but we just don't know which ones they plan to sell quite yet.
That seems like a pretty big deal. So we don't have a ton of Albertsons here already. So to have these sold off to another company, especially for people who work there. But I want to back up a little and ask you, can you give us the background on this possible merger?
Yeah, so a year ago in October, actually, of 2022, the companies announced that they intended to merge, and the plan was for Kroger to pay about $20 billion for Albertsons and also assume $4.7 billion of Albertsons debt. And Albertsons, as I'm sure you know and a lot of listeners know, is Idaho's largest company. It was founded in Boise by Joe Albertson in 1939. The company's headquarters are still here on Park Center Boulevard. The company, has $72 billion in yearly sales. It has, hundreds of thousands of employees nationwide. Kroger is an even bigger company. It's based in Cincinnati. It also owns Fred Meyer, which competes directly with Albertsons in the Boise area.
And if Kroger sounds familiar to people in Boise, that's because, like you said, they own Fred Meyer. And they've been doing this for a while, right? Kind of scooping up these smaller companies and kind of adding to their list of stores. But they initially did say they wouldn't be selling any of the Albertsons stores. What changed that?
Initially, they planned to spin off a bunch of stores into a new company to head off concerns from the Federal Trade Commission about market concentration, but they have since killed that plan and decided just to sell off a bunch of stores to a sole buyer. But the companies did make two promises initially. They said no stores in the country will close as a result of the merger, and also that all frontline associates will remain employed. But they did kind of hint at, when they did announce the merger, that they would be divesting some stores, whether that's, spinning it off into a new company or what the plan is now, which is just to sell them to a sole buyer.
Do we know yet how this could affect local stores and employees?
I don't think we know quite yet how the divestitures will affect local stores, since we just don't know which ones those will be. I think once there's more information about which 13 stores are going to be sold, then we might get a clearer picture of that.
Tyler Childers, live in concert. The Mule Pole 24 Tour. Ford Idaho Center Amphitheater, August 21st. With special guests, Shaky Graves. Get tickets this Friday at 10 a.m. at FordIdahoCenter.com. The new album, Rustin' in the Rain, is available everywhere now. Visit TylerChildersMusic.com.
Because I'm just thinking, like, if you're an Albertsons employee right now being told, don't worry, you're not going to lose your job, but we are potentially selling your store to this other company who might treat you completely different and have completely different policies and pay and all these things. That probably is pretty alarming for a lot of people.
Yeah, I think those are really valid concerns. And the limited disclosure about the divestitures, I think, has left a lot of questions unanswered, including why some Idaho stores are being sold and not others. But also, whether those stores will be rebranded or retain the Albertsons name, or like you said, how the employees at those stores will be affected, whether it will affect their pay, or, like I said before, the company said that no frontline associates would be laid off as a result of the merger. But, who knows, once these stores are in another company's hands, what they might decide to do.
I'm sure, for a lot of people, the question that's coming to mind is this going to impact grocery prices here? Do we have any idea about that yet?
Well, top executives from both of the companies have repeatedly said that they believe this merger will be beneficial to consumers rather than harmful. And I just think that remains to be seen, whether grocery prices will increase as a result, how this all affects competition is something that the Federal Trade Commission is looking at right now in its antitrust review. So hopefully there'll be more information about that soon.
We're calling this a merger, but really, from your article, I kind of got the sense that this is a merger, but really that Kroger is in charge of this merger, right? It's the big fish eating a smaller fish, right?
It definitely is, yeah.
So what other concerns do people have about this merger?
I think the main concerns are just how it will affect the Albertsons stores in Idaho. Albertsons was founded in Boise, and it's where a lot of people shop. And I think a lot of people might be wondering how this merger will affect, what happens when they go to the grocery store. Like I said, the FTC is looking at, doing an antitrust review and looking at, will this actually be beneficial to consumers? Will it be harmful? Many people have reasons to believe that it could harm competition. Obviously these two big grocery companies consolidating. So yeah, I just think a lot of it remains to be seen.
Are there any benefits to this potential merger for anybody besides shareholders, I suppose? Anybody really into this?
Gosh, I'm not totally sure. Obviously, the executives of the companies think this will be beneficial. They think it'll be good for consumers. I think they believe it'll help them compete with other big grocery retailers like Walmart. But yeah, I just think it remains to be seen. I don't know if there's anyone out there really, really rooting for this. I haven't, besides the companies themselves, I haven't.
Yeah. And, I haven't. I also haven't heard anybody who seems very excited about this. And I just read in Axios that this might not happen, right? The FTC is likely to sue, possibly, to block this deal.
Yeah, I saw that report, and it hasn't been confirmed yet. But this merger, it needs to pass an antitrust review, and the FTC can definitely, if it believes that the deal would substantially lessen competition, it can take legal action to block the deal from going forward. And that report was saying that might be happening.
So why would the FTC want to block this merger? If
the FTC was going to block it, it would be because they think it would be harmful to competition. Basically, on the FTC's website, they work with the Department of Justice to look at these mergers and do an antitrust review. And if they believe that the deal going through would substantially lessen competition, they can sue to block it. There was a congressional hearing last November with legislators at the Senate Judiciary Subcommittee on Competition Policy, Antitrust, and Consumer Rights. And several Congress people showed that they were really concerned about this inflating grocery prices and could harm employees.
So what's next? When is this supposed to actually all happen?
The companies want the deal to close early next year, but again, it's just pending that antitrust review and approval from the Federal Trade Commission.
Well, we will be keeping an eye on this. I'm sure you'll be doing more reporting on it, but thanks for making some time to come on the show.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
If you're looking for more analysis on what the Kroger-Albertsons merger could mean for Boise, the Idaho Statesman just published a piece by former Boise State University President Bob Kustra that we think does a great job breaking down the economics of the deal and why it could potentially harm customers. Kustra has some pretty strong words for the proposed merger, calling it King Kroger's capture and decapitation plan, and suggests that it's primarily a power move by Kroger to reduce competition. He also cites past studies showing that mergers in the grocery industry tend to increase prices and consolidate market power without delivering promised benefits to customers. And he calls for more oversight by the FTC and the Department of Justice. We've got a link to that piece in our show notes. And before you go, you may have noticed we have some new music on the podcast. Many thanks to local band Up Is the Down Is The for our new sound, and if you like it, you can check out more of their music on Bandcamp. We'll be back tomorrow morning with more local stories from around the city. Bye!